It's not just about wrinkles or slowing down, you know. As we age, we can unintentionally develop small, subtle habits. These seemingly harmless habits can quietly push loved ones away, damage relationships, and make life harder than it needs to be. The scariest part is, we often don't realize we're doing it until it's too late. But here's the good news. You absolutely can change them. In the content you're about to hear, we'll dive deep into 12 often avoided ugly habits. Habits that might be secretly stealing joy, health, and closeness from you or someone you care about. Why should you listen to the end? Because we'll uncover surprising traps and, more importantly, simple, practical solutions to break free from them. Some things might surprise you, especially one habit that many people overlook until they've paid a heavy price. Listen closely to learn how to spot these habits before they take over, how to rebuild connections you thought were lost, and how to embrace aging with purpose instead of regret. If you've ever felt disconnected, stuck, or simply curious about invisible barriers, then this is for you. Don't hesitate. Let's start the journey of discovery and change right now, because waiting only makes things harder. Before we get started, I'd love to know where you're joining me from today. Drop a comment below and feel free to ask any questions you have. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a health-boosting tip from Elder's Guidance. Let's dive into the first habit, becoming overly negative or critical. This one is sneaky because it often masks itself as simply being honest or telling it like it is. It might start small, a sigh about the aches and pains of getting older, a frustrated comment about the news, or maybe a generalized complaint about the way things are now. Think about Sarah. She always considered herself someone who just spoke her mind. But gradually, those morning grumbles about aging bled into frustration with world events, and then into sharp judgments about younger relatives. Back in my day, we had more respect, she'd say, rolling her eyes, not realizing she was building a wall instead of a bridge. At first, she didn't notice the toll, but conversations became shorter. Friends subtly steered clear of topics they knew would trigger a rant. Even her grandkids, once eager visitors, started making excuses. Why? Because no matter how justified negativity might feel, nobody wants to leave an interaction feeling drained, or worse than when they arrived. Constant criticism, even if unintentional, acts like an invisible weight, pulling people down and pushing them away. It fosters an atmosphere where connection struggles to survive. Why does this tendency sometimes increase as we age? It could stem from various places. Perhaps a feeling of losing control as the world changes rapidly, maybe physical discomfort coloring our perception, or even a fear of becoming irrelevant that manifests as criticism of the new. But whatever the root, the outcome is often the same: isolation. Furthermore, this persistent negativity doesn't just affect relationships. It impacts our own well-being, keeping our stress levels high and potentially affecting our physical health over time. The core lesson here is powerful. The energy you consistently put out into the world is often the energy you get back. Negativity breeds more negativity and isolation. So, how can you shift this? Start small. Try beginning conversations with something positive, even if it's just acknowledging a nice moment, like, "The sunset was beautiful last night," or expressing gratitude. When you do feel the need to vent, which is perfectly normal, try setting a mental timer. Give yourself a few minutes, then consciously pivot to something more constructive or neutral. Practice reframing negative thoughts. Is there another way to look at this situation? And crucially, cultivate curiosity over criticism. When you encounter something you don't understand, especially from younger generations, instead of dismissing it, try asking, "Tell me more about that." This simple phrase opens doors to connection rather than slamming them shut. Making these conscious shifts, leading with positivity more often, can gradually rebuild warmth and closeness. If you enjoyed this video, comment 1 to let me know. If not, comment 2. Your thought mattered to me either way. Our second habit involves neglecting personal hygiene and appearance. This often creeps in with thoughts like, why bother? I'm not trying to impress anyone. It might mean skipping regular grooming or consistently opting for shapeless, comfortable clothes over outfits that once brought joy. Think of Sarah, who went from taking pride in her appearance to rarely glancing in the mirror, convincing herself it didn't matter. But it does matter, and not just for how others see us. Neglecting our appearance profoundly affects how we see ourselves. Sarah noticed strangers started ignoring her and friends invited her out less. But the bigger shift was internal, a loss of vibrancy and confidence. This isn't about vanity, it's about self-respect. Taking care of our appearance is a way of honoring ourselves at any age, sending a subconscious message that I am worth the effort. Consistently neglecting this can even intertwine with feelings of low mood or apathy. The core lesson is that how we present ourselves impacts both our inner world and how the outer world responds to us. If this resonates, how can you shift it? Start small. Make a point to get dressed each day in clean clothes that make you feel good, even if you're staying home. Simple grooming acts, showering, brushing your hair, are powerful forms of self-care. Inject small joys. Wear a favorite color. Use a spritz of perfume. These little things reconnect you to your sense of self. Rediscovering these simple habits can help bring back confidence and the feeling of being truly yourself again, both in your own eyes and in the eyes of others. Let's talk about the third habit, becoming overly stubborn and resistant to change. Now, having routines and preferences is perfectly normal, but this habit is about digging in your heels, automatically resisting new ideas, technologies, or ways of doing things simply because they're unfamiliar. It's being rigidly set in one's ways. Consider Sarah again. When her family started communicating more through text messages, she resisted. I don't need to learn all that, she insisted. If they want to talk, they can call. But the calls became less frequent. Family updates, photos, reminders. They were happening in group chats she refused to join. What's the real consequence here? It wasn't just about missing messages, it was about missing connection. By resisting this change, she was unintentionally shutting herself off from the flow of everyday life with the people she loved most. Stubbornness, in this case, led directly to isolation. Often this resistance isn't just about being difficult. It can mask underlying fears, perhaps a fear of not being able to learn something new, a fear of feeling incompetent, or even a fear of the world changing too fast. But here's something empowering. Our brains are capable of learning and adapting throughout our entire lives. Embracing small changes keeps our minds sharp and engaged. The core lesson isn't just about adopting new technology, it's about maintaining openness. Saying "I'll try," even to something small, holds incredible power. It keeps you connected, relevant, and mentally agile. How can you cultivate this openness? You don't need to become an expert overnight. Start small. Maybe let a grandchild teach you how to send a simple text or use a single feature on your phone. Focus on the benefit, like seeing more photos or getting quick updates. Approach new things with curiosity instead of immediate dismissal. When Sarah finally let her granddaughter teach her texting, she was surprised by how easy it was, but even more by the flood of connection she'd been missing. Letting go of resistance opened the door to deeper relationships. Our fourth habit tackles something physical yet deeply emotional: accumulating too much stuff and struggling to let it go. This often happens because items hold sentimental value, or we cling to the thought, "I might need this someday." Like Sarah, whose sentimental nature meant every item held a story, leading her home to transform from a peaceful sanctuary into an overwhelming maze of possessions kept just in case. The consequences go beyond just a messy house. Mentally, clutter creates stress, makes it hard to focus, and can feel suffocating. It keeps us mentally trapped in the past. Physically, it poses safety risks like falls and makes cleaning difficult. Socially, the embarrassment can lead to reluctance in inviting guests, fostering isolation. Often, this isn't just about the physical items, it's about the emotional baggage tied to them. We might hold on to things because they feel connected to our identity, provide a false sense of security, or simply because making decisions about letting go feels too hard. But here's the powerful lesson. Letting go of unnecessary physical possessions is often a way to release emotional weight and the grip of the past. Clearing physical space can create valuable mental space, allowing us to better embrace and enjoy the present. There's a profound sense of freedom in letting go. How do you start if your space feels overwhelming? The key is small, manageable steps. Don't try to tackle everything at once. Choose one small area, a drawer, a shelf, and maybe set a timer for 15-20 minutes. Ask yourself about each item. Do I use it? Do I love it? Do I truly need it? If not, consider donating useful items, recycling others, or passing on meaningful things to family. Focus on the feeling of peace and lightness you aim to achieve. When Sarah finally decluttered, the weight lifted, and she felt a renewed sense of peace and freedom in her home, eager to welcome others again. Our fifth habit is one many of us can relate to: losing patience too quickly. This is when irritation flares up easily, perhaps leading us to snap at others who seem slow or inefficient, like a slow driver or someone fumbling at a checkout counter. Remember Sarah's experience at the grocery store. Standing in line, she felt frustration building towards the young cashier who was taking his time. Before she could stop herself, sharp words escaped. "Come on, can you hurry up?" The moment she saw his face fall, realizing he was new and nervous, she felt immediate regret. Was she becoming that impatient person she used to dislike? It's easy to feel frustrated when the world doesn't move at our preferred pace. But impatience doesn't just make things harder for others. It raises our own stress levels and clouds our judgment, poisoning our interactions. The core lesson here is that patience is a conscious choice, and it's a powerful one. It's not just a gift to others, it's a gift to ourselves, leading to less internal stress and more peaceful interactions. How do we cultivate it? The first step is simple: pause before reacting. When irritation bubbles up, take a deep breath. Ask yourself if the situation is truly worth getting upset over. Try shifting your perspective. Perhaps that person is doing their best under difficult circumstances. Instead of snapping, try offering a smile or a kind word. A simple, "take your time," can make a world of difference, both for them and for you. Now for habit number 6, talking too much and not truly listening. It's natural to want to share our stories, experiences, and hard-earned advice. But sometimes, this desire can lead us to dominate conversations, forgetting to leave space for the other person. Think about Sarah, known as the family storyteller. She didn't realize how often she monopolized conversations until her daughter gently confessed, "Mom, sometimes I don't feel heard. Our calls feel like they're all about you." Sarah was stunned. She'd been so focused on imparting her wisdom that she forgot to simply listen. When we consistently overtalk, we risk making others feel unimportant or invisible. It can subtly push people away, leading to shorter, less frequent interactions because true connection feels blocked. While the intention might be good, wanting to share or feel relevant, the impact can be isolating. The lesson here is about balance. Great conversations are a two-way street. Truly listening to someone is a profound way to show you value them. How can we practice better listening? After sharing for a bit, consciously pause and turn the focus back. What about you? How have things been for you? Resist the urge to immediately jump in with your own related story, even if it's a great one. Ask open-ended questions that invite more than a one-word answer, like, "What was the highlight of your week?" instead of just, "How are you?" When Sarah started intentionally listening more, her conversations became warmer and more meaningful. Habit number 7 is one that might hit close to home for many. The one we hinted might be surprising. Fiercely maintaining independence to the point of pushing people away instead of asking for or accepting help. This often comes from a place of pride or a deep-seated fear of being seen as a burden. Consider Sarah, who always prided herself on being the capable one, the caregiver. But as simple tasks became harder, her pride got in the way. When a kind young man offered to help her with heavy groceries she was clearly struggling with, her automatic response was, "No, thank you. I've got it." But as she dragged the bag inside, the physical ache was overshadowed by a wave of frustration and profound isolation. She had pushed away connection. Refusing help doesn't make us stronger. It often makes us lonelier. It prevents others from expressing care and, if done consistently, can lead people to stop offering altogether. It builds walls where bridges could be formed. The deeper lesson here involves redefining strength. True strength often lies not in absolute independence, but in recognizing our interdependence and having the wisdom to accept support when needed. Furthermore, accepting help gives others the gift of feeling useful and needed. How do we change this reflexive no? Start by noticing the impulse. Then, practice accepting small offers. Maybe it's letting someone hold a door or carry one bag. Try a simple, "Actually, that would be lovely, thank you." When Sarah finally did accept help later, she felt a weight lift, not just physically but emotionally, replaced by a sense of connection. Habit number 8 addresses the other side of the coin from hoarding, being so frugal, even when financially stable, that it stops you from actually enjoying life. Financial prudence is wise, but this is when saving becomes an end in itself, accompanied by constant anxiety about spending. What if I need this money later? Think of Sarah, always careful with money. But her prudence morphed into hesitation over any non-essential purchase, even skipping vacations or simple pleasures. When her friend Emily invited her on a weekend getaway, Sarah's first instinct was anxiety about the cost, despite having comfortable savings. She had to ask herself, what am I saving for if I'm not living now? The consequence of excessive frugality is missing out on joy, on creating lasting memories, on shared experiences that build connection. It can lead to a life of self-deprivation despite having the resources, potentially resulting in regret down the line. Often this stems from a persistent scarcity mindset, even when circumstances have improved. Research consistently shows that spending money on experiences tends to bring more lasting happiness than buying material things. The core lesson: financial security is vital, but its ultimate purpose should be to support a fulfilling life, not just to accumulate untouched wealth. Balance is key. Money is a tool meant to enable joy, not just provide security. How can one find this balance? Start by consciously giving yourself permission to spend reasonably on things that bring you joy. consider setting aside a dedicated fun fund, specifically for enjoyment. Prioritize experiences, outings, hobbies, travel that nourish your soul. When Sarah finally said yes to that trip, the laughter and connection she experienced reminded her this was what she'd been saving for all along. Habit number 9 involves unintentionally talking down to younger generations. This often happens through constant comparisons like, "Back in my day, things were better," or by dismissing their interests, struggles, or technologies as frivolous or wrong. Think of Sarah's interaction with her grandson, Noah. When he excitedly talked about a new app, her sigh and comment about how kids used to play outside immediately shut down the conversation and made him want to leave. She meant to connect, perhaps share wisdom, but her words only made him feel dismissed and invalidated. This kind of communication doesn't build bridges. It creates walls. It fosters resentment rather than understanding and pushes younger people away. They feel like their experiences don't matter. The core lesson isn't about agreeing with everything the younger generation does, but about approaching them with respect and curiosity. Instead of judging, try understanding their world from their perspective. How to shift this? Practice active curiosity. When they mention something new, try saying, "That sounds interesting. Tell me more," instead of immediately comparing it negatively to the past. Listen without judgment. Avoid those back-in-my-day lectures. Focus on finding common ground. When Sarah later approached Noah with genuine curiosity, they finally connected, sharing a moment of mutual respect. Habit number 10 deals with the heavy burden of holding on to grudges and regrets. It's like carrying an invisible weight that slowly wears you down, stealing your present joy and clouding your outlook. Every time you dwell on those old wounds or past mistakes, you're essentially reliving the pain and preventing yourself from fully experiencing the good things happening now. This isn't just an emotional burden. Chronic bitterness and resentment can quietly erode your current relationships, building walls between you and loved ones. And it takes a physical toll, too. The constant stress associated with holding on to anger and regret can impact your blood pressure, disrupt your sleep, and even potentially weaken your immune system over time. It's a weight that affects mind, body, and spirit. So how do you let go and find emotional freedom? It starts with accepting that the past cannot be changed. No amount of replaying events will alter them. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen?" try asking, "What can I learn from this?" The core lesson here is that forgiveness, whether of others or yourself, isn't about excusing bad behavior or forgetting. It's about releasing yourself from its power. It's an act of courage for your own peace of mind. You can try consciously redirecting your thoughts when old hurts surface. Or perhaps try a symbolic release. Write down everything you're holding on to, then tear it up or safely burn it, making a conscious decision to let it go, just as Sarah did to finally feel lighter and freer. Habit 11 is critical because it directly impacts our physical well-being, ignoring health problems. It's easy to brush off new aches, pains, or symptoms like dizziness or unusual fatigue as just a normal part of getting older. We might delay doctor visits out of fear, denial, or simply thinking it's inconvenient. But ignoring these signs can be downright dangerous. Small symptoms are often our body's early warning system. That dizziness could be dehydration, or potentially something more serious. Persistent fatigue might not just be age, but perhaps an underlying issue needing attention. Delaying checkups allows potentially treatable conditions to worsen, turning smaller issues into major health crises down the line. Sarah learned this the hard way after a fall, triggered by dizziness she'd dismissed, served as a painful wake-up call. Prevention and early detection are always easier than managing a crisis. The core lesson is vital. Your health is the foundation for a vibrant, independent life. Listening to your body and taking proactive steps isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's about taking responsibility for your well-being before things get serious. So, what's the action plan? Don't automatically dismiss new or persistent symptoms. If something feels off, get it checked out. Schedule and keep up with regular doctor visits and recommended health screenings. Have you been ignoring something your body is trying to tell you? Please don't wait until it's too late. Take action now to protect your health and future. Finally, our 12th habit addresses something essential yet easily lost. Letting life become too routine, forgetting to seek out joy, and losing the vital spark of laughter and playfulness. Life can become monotonous if we let it. Sarah realized this when looking through old photos, remembering a time full of laughter and excitement that seemed to have faded. She was initially reluctant when invited for a simple movie night, but saying yes led to an awakening. As deep laughter bubbled up, she felt a part of herself come alive again. That experience reminded her that joy was still there, waiting to be rediscovered. Losing touch with joy diminishes our quality of life. Laughter truly is medicine for the soul. It lowers stress, boosts immunity, improves circulation, and strengthens social bonds. It keeps us feeling young at heart, reminding us to embrace life's simple pleasures. The most crucial lesson Sarah learned that night was this: joy isn't usually something you just stumble upon. It's something you actively choose to cultivate and invite into your life. It requires conscious effort. How can we do this? Make intentional choices to seek joy daily. Be playful. Maybe crank up some favorite music and dance like Sarah did. Reconnect with hobbies. Schedule fun activities. Spend time with positive people. Watch something funny. Don't wait for the perfect moment to feel joy. Create it. It's never too late to make that choice. So we've journeyed through 12 common, sometimes ugly habits that can creep into our lives as we age, potentially impacting our happiness, health, and connections. From the subtle drain of negativity and the isolation caused by resisting change or refusing help, to the importance of self-care, letting go of clutter and grudges, staying engaged with health, and actively choosing joy. As we reflect on these points, think about what resonated most deeply with you. Was it recognizing the power of forgiveness to free yourself? The vital importance of listening to your body's health signals? Or perhaps the simple but profound realization that joy and laughter are choices we can make every day? Whatever stood out, remember the core message. Awareness is the crucial first step. Aging doesn't inevitably mean becoming isolated, negative, or stuck. We have the power to choose our responses, shift our habits, and cultivate a different experience. Small, conscious changes, practiced consistently, can lead to significant improvements in our well-being and relationships. Take a moment now to consider, what is one lesson, one insight, or one strategy from our discussion today that you feel committed to bringing into your life moving forward? Making even one small shift can start a positive ripple effect. It's truly never too late to change direction, rebuild connections, let go of burdens, and embrace a more purposeful, connected, and joyful later life. The power to shape that experience rests within you. If you enjoyed this video, comment 1 to let me know. If not, comment 2. Your thought matters to me either way.